Hi guys, this is Drea Bolin from freesaloneducation.com, and today we are going to be showing you how to do a vintage inspired faux bob. I'm going to start off my set by working in the front panel, all in horizontal sections, working up the head. Using a wand, I'm going to be holding the wand vertically to the head to start creating a finger wave-esque set to the hair. You'll notice that I'm letting the hair cool down a little bit right before I pin curl it up. The purpose of that is to just let it cool a little bit. I'm not trying to get a strong curl, but more of the S-shapes curl pattern. I like to use a working spray for this set, just so that it gives it a little bit of memory to the style. Well, but nothing too hard that I can't brush through later. One of the things I like to do when I pin the hair up for the set is mimic the shape of the wand, making sure that I don't disturb the curl too much, still keeping it in that vertical shape against the head. One of the other important things with this set is to make sure that we follow each curl to have in the same direction, and that's going to keep with the consistency of the finger wave pattern. For this particular style, I'm starting on the heavier parted side to create a swooping motion around the face that you'll see later.
Now, when you're working on the heavier side, are you changing the set at all, or is it?
No, it doesn't change the set at all. It just, you're going to have one side that swoops forward and one side that doesn't, and I like to accent the heavier side to have that S shape in the front.
Okay.
As I get further up the head, I am over directing ever so slightly the set just so that it's not flat against her head, giving her just the tiniest bit of lift.
That's the one thing I did notice. When you crossed over to the opposite side, you were still rolling everything the same direction.
Yeah. Well, if you don't keep it all in the same direction, you're not going to have consistency that you need for this style.
Yeah, I think that's the challenge. When I'm trying to create a wave feel to the hair, or kind of like a dry finger wave look, you really do have to stay consistent with each section, because otherwise it just doesn't, the S doesn't go together.
Right. Consistency with this set is truly the key to it, down to, it's almost like a checkered board, the way the curls sit on the head. Everything lines up perfectly, otherwise it's just doesn't work.
Yeah, and I have to say, when I watched you do this, because we were filming it, the coolest part about this set was at the end, when you took it out, how all of those curls just came together. So I think that's what's going to be exciting when you guys see the end of this set, how it falls. It was very impressive to me, because this is something that I have a challenge with when I'm working styling and stuff. So
one of the things I always like to also focus on is making sure that tail of the curl is tucked up in there so that you don't get any fish hooks. And even though we're going to be pinning this style up later, it's just nice to have everything smooth and going in the same direction that you're looking for.
Yeah, and the other thing I love about what you do is, in the set, you don't take each section and pin curl it right away.
Right.
You let it rest. And so I like that aspect of it as well. It seems quicker.
Like, to me, it's just easier to move kind of, it's almost like an old-fashioned typewriter. You know, you just go across and then you come back and you start again. And it's just systematic for me. But, I mean, like I said earlier, we're not looking for a strong curl in this, so we can let it rest for a little bit, because we're just looking for that S pattern in there.
And the other point that you made about the tail of the the style. I think for me as a hair cutter, sometimes I rush through the style. I don't rush through the haircut, but then when I go into the style, I don't look at those little tiny details, but it makes a huge difference.
It just makes your life easier when styling the hair afterwards. You know, you don't want to have to worry about hiding that end that you didn't curl properly.
Right.
It just flows a lot easier for you.
Right away, the big thing that I notice is they all line up. Every curl lines up. They're all the same size. You took your time through it, and that's why you're going to see this result the way it is.
Yeah, it becomes a grid, the head. While it's cooling, I'm just going to set a nice spray on it just to kind of reinforce that shape that we're looking for. And then as we take everything out, I like to use a shine spray before I brush it out. It just gives a little bit of slip to the hair, allows it to add nice luxurious shine to it before we start brushing it.
And the thing about this, like right away I look at this, I'm like, okay, prom.
This is a very scary look right off the bat, and but it's not finished.
And people shouldn't be afraid, and what you're going to see is don't be afraid to just get your hands in it.
Right. I like to brush in layers. I think it just gives a smoother appearance that way. And this is just a boar bristle dressing brush. It works really nicely for styles like this. But you can see how the S pattern just pops right in there.
Yeah, this was right away. I was like, okay, boom, there it is. You can see just beautiful how it falls.
And this is where consistency is key, and it just shows where you can see where everything's lining up where it needs to be. And if you need to, you can even use the dressing brush to kind of put those waves where they need to be, because of how you line them up. If it doesn't brush out just exactly, you can go in with the brush and kind of push those ridges in.
Yeah, kind of like rouge it from the bottom.
Rouge it from the bottom, yeah. Or use the tail of a teasing comb. That works a lot too.
Okay.
Now, when I start the style, I start on the opposite side that I started the set from. I want to use the front part of the hair, the hairline, and bring it back. And I kind of choose my length, and then I wrap the rest of the hair up into a roll, which to me that just allows it to have a more secure base that I'm pinning into at the base of the hairline, because it's a little bit, typically hair is a little bit finer there, and it's hard to really get things to secure in there. And then I use the bobby pins to secure each side of the roll, kind of creating a crisscross to lock that roll right in place at the bottom. When I get to the back, I split the back half of the head in half using the spray and the tail of my teasing brush, just to kind of work each section, marrying them together, so I can start to create this bob out of the rolls.
I love this hairstyle. I mean, this is something that we've seen, but what I love about what you did was you took it, made it a vintage kind of feel. So you took what we're doing modern-wise with creating a vintage look and just made the faux bob feel out of it. And this is a cool thing that any girl could wear out.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I loved The Great Gatsby. I loved the styles in there, and you saw it a lot on the red carpet during award season this year. So,
and if a girl has long hair and she wants to wear a bob for the night, then this is a great style for that.
I think it's great for girls to kind of see what it gives them that actual visual of what they'd appear to have with short hair.
Plus, no girl with this long hair wants to chop it. This is like the way that you can get the chop without chopping
your hair.
Yeah, exactly.
I use my fingers a lot with this style because I don't want it overly set, even though it does have a strong set that we put into it. But being able to pin it up, I want it to live a little bit more organically to get that bob feel versus having that updo feel. But you can easily work with the waves waves to marry and blend the hair together perfectly, and it gives you really a seamless style.
Yeah, you could really wear this style anywhere.
Right. Like, it doesn't have to be to a night out. It could be to any event that you were really going to.
I think it's also key you were using Paul Mitchell Worked Up, which is a very dry working spray, so that people aren't soaking it with like a wet working spray.
Right. I like to use more of those for like a finish work, but not so much while you're trying to work with it.
Well, and you added the shine in, so you used the shine spray, which I think it was Paul Mitchell Awapui Wild Ginger, right? So the shine spray there, and that's going to add the shine that maybe the Worked Up would have
not had.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's great about this is if you see anything that's not laying just right, you can just go in with a pen, pop it back up where you need it to be. It's very visual, well, how things are going to line up. So just have fun with it.
And this is your finishing spray?
That
was a little bit of finishing spray.
Yeah, that was a little bit of finishing spray because I was done with that section. What I like about the front is you don't want to pin it too tight. Because you don't want to lose that nice swoop in the front that we see right there.
It's a great picture there.
Yeah. She pulls off the look very well. And there we have our finished look. We'll go through and just kind of redefine some of those waves, but mostly it's just to get those last little flyaway pieces. But there's our vintage inspired faux bob.
Dre, I think it looks great.
Thank you.
This was a very impressive style watching you do this, and I think we had a lot of fun with it.
It was a blast.
Make sure that you guys subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on freesaloneducation.com, and you'll see us on the next video.
Absolutely.
Great job, Dre.
Thank you.